Work for me now? Is this gonna work? Let's see. Okay, is it gonna work for me? Stop. Let's check over this one. And now let's see. Okay, see if it's gonna work for me. Hello? Testing, testing. What is going on with this? Okay. No, why you are not working. Okay, settle down, please. Big yawns. Yep, big yawns. Why is it not going? Doobie doo, doobie doobie doo. Doobie doobie dooba doobie doobie dooba. Oh, I might not want to do that one. That might be copyrighted. Copyright means that if I do it and somebody is paying attention, I can get in trouble because it's already been done. So I don't want to get in trouble. Okay. Why is that not working for me? Let's see. Here. Okay, is this gonna work? Good songs, buddy. Good songs. Yes, it is. You are correct. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Doo-ba-doo. All right, settle down again. Settle. Okay. Okay, let's try something else here. So what if this one, properties, this was under the microphones. Wanted to catch that. So how do I? Hello? Testing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, good job counting, buddy. You're right, I did start it. You are correct. Okie dokie. Boo-boo-boo-boo. Oh, yeah. Oh, this one. Okay, hello? Oh, wait, is it working now? Okay, hold on, this one. Hello? Testing, testing. Okay, over here. Hello? Still getting much sound over there. I don't understand this messing up on me. Stop it. Thank you. You? No, just you. Okay, let's see if that works. and down. Oh yeah. Oh wait, is there sound now? Oh, I got sound. Hey, and you're all right. Right as I forgot the sound too. Okay. Awesome. Okay. Now I can switch back over to the other one. Let's see here. Do this. Let's see if the sound continues on. Quiet, you say? Okay, let me see. Stop again. Okay. Tell me if it gets any better as I change these settings somewhat. Uh, I think that was it. Okay, I'm gonna pick up this earbud and let's see. Yeah, yes, I know. It's like, what is going on here? What if I do that? Can you still hear me? Hmm. Can you hear me? Yay? Nay? No sound? Let's see. Yeah. So, NA, are you able to hear me now or no? Ooh, perfect. All right. No echo and it's working. Perfect. All right. If you can avoid the hand puppets here going on. So, we're doing the unboxing of my chaotic cards. I think you take this is pretty good. Yep. They had to package it good so it wouldn't break. There we go. This is box one from the Mepedian tribe. These I I first got introduced to these things back when I was in college and towards the end of college, actually, 2013, 2014, and it was so much fun. Me and my friend back then, we were playing this thing so much back then, but unfortunately, we were the only two that ever knew about this game. So it quickly died out whenever we moved away. So you have the top part of this, which it's fashioned after their little phone scanner things in the game, in the actual TV show, but it's made to actually hold a deck of cards for you to play with. So we have Prince Mudino, yeah, and then this is Mahrant, Mahrant, a Danian. So Mepedian and a Danian for the first two. It always comes like a super rare and then normal. Yes, a millennial card game. And I'm proud of it. I'm getting my kiddos introduced to it. All right, I'm going to set that to the side. Because now we get to the real fun unboxing here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we start with one from the Silent Sands. Can you hear the narration going on beside me too, NA? Okay, so we have, let's see here. If I can do this properly, let's see here. Let's get the camera right here, bend it down a little more. There we go. We have Atropole, who's an underworld creature. Battle Gear. Their music, that's their magic stuff. And then we have attacks. Ooh, got the nice shiny. I love that stuff. Oh, I haven't seen this one yet. I love how shiny those cards are. More music, another attack, and a Danian creature. So there's a total of 5 types of cards on here. You have the creatures, the battle gear or the equipment that you would give to them, their music or their magical abilities, and their attacks, their normal attacks that they would use to deal damage. And then the fifth, let's see. Yes, this is number 2. Oh yeah, these are first edition cards that I'm getting here, which is really, really cool. I know it's probably gonna break somebody's heart to see me opening these up, but hey, I got these so that I could play with them. Yeah, yeah. I mean, this came out after Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff, but they wanted to build something entirely different. Have the overworld creatures, which are the blue ones. The Pedians. He's doing good. Another attack. Here's the 5th type of card. The locations. These give you where your characters do battle, and they give you the ideas of initiative, so who goes first, and then each location has a ability that you can do. King gear, nice and shiny battle gear, right? The idea was so cool. Unfortunately, the reason that this went out of print was Chaotic was at this point owned by 4Kids Media, and there was a lot of lawsuits going on with 4Kids, and so they ended up just not making this anymore when they were going through all the lawsuits. But it was a really cool idea, and it could have gone really far. It was ahead of its time in that this game um, actually had an online presence before the other games like Yu-Gi-Oh and Pokemon and all that stuff did. But yeah, so the way that it works, I'll have another video that I'll release tonight going through the actual rules of the game. But the way that it would work is you would have one character, one battle gear attached to the character, one music for each character, but anybody can cast the music if they meet the qualifications of it. And then you would have 10 locations that you then shuffle and draw at random. And then you have your attack cards that you shuffle and draw in order to have your attacks ready for the gameplay. And you take turns with your opponent um, battling each other. Zenith of the Hive expansion pack here. So whenever you're battling, most often it's either going to be a one-on-one match, or you can have a 3-on-3 or a 6-on-6, and it just keeps building up like that. Basically, you form an inverted pyramid, so you always have one close to you, followed by 2, followed by 3, etc. We got another creature, Dubin. Attack, music. Let me try just a little bit over here. So maybe parasite tokens. We got our first little token here. Because the Danians are insect people that they use parasites to infect the opponent's deck. You're a millennial too, huh? Well, it started out as a TV show that they then turned into the card game because they wanted a TV show first, and then they wanted to introduce the card game so that people would have an idea of how to play. And it was honestly the TV show was really popular. It was fun. I'm introducing my kiddos to it now, and they love it. They really do. And I've always loved the art on this. The cool thing about their spells is they call it music, and the way that it works is it's music magic. So anytime in the TV show somebody would cast their music, it would come with 7 musical notes that would then cast whatever they're doing. Like this one here is switch riff. Switch the position of 2 target unengaged Mepedians you control. So 2 of my guys on the back rows or whatever, if I had one on the back row that I wanted to go up to the front row to get next to attack somebody, I'd use that. You'd hear music go off, and then they would switch places. Can't stop. Another Zenith of the Hive. And used to, what would happen is there's a code on the bottom of each card that is unique to that code, to that card. And that's the one that you use to upload the card to the online game to play. Now, since it's discontinued and that online game is no longer active, there is some talk about them rebooting this game very soon, either this year or next year. So everybody's very hopeful for that. But they don't know if that's gonna how that's gonna work out with the online presence. If it's going to be where you can use the same card codes, can't stop. Where you can use the same card codes to upload your decks to the new app if they do that route, or back in the day there were some very busted cards that you could completely own any deck with. And nowadays, of course, those would be extremely rare cards. And if you got people with those cards uploading those codes to get those uploaded to the new website, then that would naturally cause a lot of issues for the newer players trying to get in. Stop it or get down. Okay. All right. Let's get over. Another battle gear. And on the creatures here, you have the blue for the overworlders. You have the yellow for the Mepedians, which are lizard-like people. Brown for the Danians, the insect-like people. And red for the underworlders. So they have everything color-coded, which makes it really nice. Oh, Reverberate. I remember back then I used to have some of these. These cards are cool because for every one of these cards that you have in your graveyard or in your discard pile, it deals 10 damage when you play it. So you play the first one, it doesn't do any damage. You play the second one, it does 10 damage because you have one in your graveyard. And that was a fun way that you could really stack up damage if you need to. Now the location. Get Isaiah. Ready, get down. Underworld music, nice and shiny. Any attack card. Well, let me see it. Mount Pillar. That's cool. That's one I hadn't seen before. I mean, look at the artwork for that. Every artwork is very rich on characters, and then you go through and it tells you. So you have. See, I can't see it. Let's see. I don't know if I can get it to focus in on it or not, but it tells you a little bit of what the character does, and on some cards, it gives you flavor text, which basically is describing the lore of the characters and what's going on with them. On of Parent, this is one of the very first release packs from the very first of the game. But um, they had a lot of really cool things going on with the cards and the lore because about second season into the show, I think it was second season, you had the arc. Hey, Sky, welcome, Mythical Chaotic. Around the second season of the show, you had what was referred to as the Marillion invasion. Basically, you had these alien creatures that they uncovered as an ancient water tribe that turned out to be Cthulhu-esque monsters where they could do brain control and stuff. And there's another Danian creature. And they started brainwashing the creatures in the show. And the way they revealed that in the card game was so cool because nobody knew if your favorite character was going to be brainwashed in the next release or not. And once your character was brainwashed, I mean, it changed the entire aspect of how I played. Oh, there's the motorcycle. There you go, Gad. That's one of the ones you like. Yeah, that's Blazers. I know. Maybe we'll unlock him in one of these cards. We'll have to see. Oh, we don't have him yet. We haven't unlocked him yet. That's the attack card. One of the fun shinies. I love how shiny the words are. This guy is Cougar. He is an underworlder. Yes, you can tell by the red on the card. And then this one, do you know what the brown means? Danian. He's one of the insects. What's the yellow mean? Is that one of the lizard people? Oh, let's see. See. Let's see if this. Okay. I don't know if that fixed it. Right. 1 second here. Do do. Okay. Did that fix it? Oh, well now it's backwards. Okay, let me see here. Oh, there we go. Now it fixed. Perfect. Is that better, y'all? You're good. You're good. Oh, there's that Rust Toxic card that we keep seeing played in the show, buddy. You know? So that all went with this first 10 of the Mepedians, which let me collect these, put these stashed away in here. All right, put those cards on top of those ones there. Yep, there you go. That's kind of big for your hand. Straighten out there, and we'll smooth it out there. There you go. Put that one on top. We'll put this on top, and then put that one on top. Perfect. Just like that. Good job. All right, so I'm going to put these back in this little case. It's wonderful because they hold all the cards there. I'm gonna go- Yep, lid will go on this one. There we go. So, as I was saying, the really cool thing is you have the tin that holds all those cards, and then you have the lid, which holds cards as well, which forms a giant box. But they fashioned these to look like the scanners from the TV show, which is really, really cool. All right, let's get out the next one. That's right. Tin can number two. So pull the tape on that one. Right there. Pull it up. Yep, just like that. Perfect. Good job, buddy. All right, go. I got this over here. There we go. All right, and I'm gonna unwrap it. Go. Yes, because this was the Underworlders. So you had one of these collectible tin cans. Hey, Jake, this is chaotic. All right, now, Gad, you're scooting over too much over here, okay? I gotta try to keep this centered. This is a card game that unfortunately went out of print some 12 to 13 years ago, but there's talk about them bringing it back. Yes. So yeah. The yellow is for the Mepedians, the lizard people. So let's see which lucky cards we get this time. We have Bareth Beyond and ooh, Crossectus. So red. Okay, Gad, stop messing with stuff. Thank you. So the red is the underworld creatures. The blue is the overworld creatures. Look how shiny those are. I love how shiny they are. Yep, because he's in the blue. You are correct. Nice. This is the Underworld 10. Now to go through the expansion packs here. So the nice thing is all these cards, all these characters, all of them are very viable in any game that you do. It all depends on how you play it. In fact, we just finished watching the episode of the show where the theme was one of the main characters, Tom. He lost his really, really good Maxor card, and he's really upset over it. And he keeps losing game after game after game. And he gets help from somebody who says, you know, Tom, it's not the cards that make the player, it's the player who wins the matches. And they really, really drill that into your head throughout the whole episode, which is really funny. And it's true too, because you can make anything work in here. It's all about are you able to figure out the strategy? That is Naina. She's a Mepedian. And we have the attack cards. This one is just an attack card called Enlightened Tenacity. It goes through stat checks. So if your character has the following stats of their courage, let's see, there we go, being 5, being 30, 50, or 70, then you deal extra damage. Yes, that's because they're designed to look like they're real scanners. Hey, can't put the lid down. Hey, here's a bear, Victar. He's shiny. Yep. Well, unfortunately, they don't make the real scanners because it was before its time. And instead of just transferring to the scanners, they transferred to smartphones instead. I would have preferred to have a scanner though. That would have been more fun. The Mepedians have a specialty called War Beasts. These guys are really big. They hit with quite the punch, but their drawback is this thing called recklessness, where when they deal damage to somebody, they're also doing damage to themselves. And so you'd have to pair up the War Beast with a Mepedian War Beast Tamer who would counteract the recklessness. So it's one of those, if you use the creatures wrong, any deck could be bad. But if you use them right, any deck could be really good. That's for these cards that we're doing right now. I just told you. So yeah, it's one of those. I mean, there's all sorts of different cards you can pull. Now, the one thing about this game is if you go through and look at individual cards, this is one of those games that, since it's been out of print, even though it's considered a dead game, the right cards, and there's several of those out there, they cost over $500 to $1,000 for an individual card. Those things are ridiculous. Now, since these are all unopened packs, we don't know what we're getting. So you never know. We might just happen to unlock one of those, but it's unlikely, but you never know. Hedian Dew Farm, another Victar. He is a bear. He reminds me of a four-armed sloth, Ulkiex. Ulkiex. As he's a tinkerer. He works on machines. His name is Ranoon. So this one is one of those people that I was talking about that he reduces the recklessness dealt to the war beast that you control. So you would have him paired with a war beast in the same deck so that your war beast does not deal too much damage to himself and just die out. Except he's in the petty and not the overworlder. Yes, yeah, I agree. $1,000 for a single card is way too much money. But there's people that spend it for lots of different things out there, which is kind of ridiculous. Granted, for me, I purposely got this game and all these decks to play with my boys and to teach them, not to collect and just stare at the cards. We're not talking about Ninjago. We're talking about Chaotic right now. That'll come on another video, maybe. Yes, buddy. We have to keep it on topic. I know, right? We'll see. For now, we're talking about Chaotic. Okay? Okay. When if we pick up from school, you mean? Yeah. So this one here, the flavor text on it, I think it's so funny. It says, rule number 31, never disobey a leader who wields four weapons at once. Their flavor text can be very, very funny. I love it. That's Swasa. That is a female underworlder. The Zenith of the Hive. It says they have armor because they're fighting. Remember, they're in a war. Not right now. We have Dubin, Danian. Ornithor. Well, remember, buddy, there's no really good guy or bad guy in this decks because each tribe fights for what they believe is right. So you have some that they're fighting to defend their homeland from the others that think they're fighting to defend their homeland from the others. And so it's a whole bunch of everybody's fighting for what they believe in, but it's not necessarily one's right and one's wrong. There's right and wrong on both sides. Hmm. Okay, so this is cool. So we have one of the shinies here, and then right behind it, we have a super rare Marant, which is funny because we pulled one of him in the last tin box too. Okay, get put that down. Put it down. Listen and obey. Thank you. Exactly. Yes, it's one of those. It could be anybody's game. And later tonight, after the boys go to sleep, I'll do a video explaining the rules on it with a simple 1v1 game and really go in depth on it because there's a lot that you can take into account with each of these. Because whenever you're drawing for the game, you only ever have 3 attack cards in hand at one time, and you have to choose one of the 3 cards to attack with. And then, of course, you can cast your Mujic abilities to make or break the play. The Ghoul, Burrow. So, one thing interesting here that you can use. So, the Mepedians, they're lizard like people. So, when you think lizards, you can think like chameleons, where they have the invisibility, where if they get to either, if they have the invisibility surprise, they can go first on any initiative, regardless of what the actual initiative score is. But then some of them have invisibility strike, like he has invisibility strike 5. So on his first attack in that game, he'll do 5 additional damage. Well, then you come across little musics like this one here called Song of True Sight. It specifically counteracts the Mepedians because target creature loses all invisibility abilities until the end of the turn, meaning suddenly he can't go first and he doesn't deal extra damage on his first strike. And that they have different things like that that you can specifically counteract other play styles based on how you build your deck. An overworld healer, Vidav. Ooh, this one's a nice shiny. Song of Ember Nova. I see you. I see you. Yes. Does that mean you can't hear me? Did you got the earplug so you can't hear me? Oh, okay, okay. Each of these creatures, we've drawn a couple of them that are the same, but the really cool part is they're all going to have different stats. Let me see if I can show you on some of these. I know I drew another ghoul. Oh yeah, yeah. I know we also have 2 of the big cars. Go. Okay. Yeah, this will be a good one to show. Because in this deck alone, we drew 2 of the Vigtars. Now, what's cool is in this show, the characters would go around with their scanners, scan the character, and it would come out with these stats. If they have elemental damages, um, and then their courage, power, wisdom, and speed stats. And anytime you'd scan the character, whatever they were going through at that time is reflected on their stats. So You scan a character one day and he might have stronger or higher power than another day, or more energy or health. And they reflect out on the cards where each one has different stats. I don't know if I can get this to focus in properly, but this one has 65 courage, this one has 85 courage, 40 power, 45 power. They both have 80 wisdom, but then this one has 30 speed and this has 35 speed. But they both have the earth and water attack damage. So this would kind of show you that one might have just recently gotten healed or uh, been studying a new attack pattern to get stronger when somebody scanned him on that one versus the other one. And I love how they show that on each card. Every card is unique. There is no two cards that are identical. I don't know how they managed all of that with the building of this card game, but it was really cool the way they did that. 'Cause it literally made everything completely unique. Right side, as a bonus, I have a whole bunch of fun bubble wrap to play with after all this. So right now, the game is discontinued since 2014, but over these past 12 years, this one guy who was involved in it bought out all the rights to it and is trying to bring it back. He's been trying to give updates to it for the past 5 years, saying the game's coming back, but it's been so long that a lot of people just kind of started ignoring that. But it's one of those, it's still, those like me are very hopeful that it is in fact coming back and will be active. Because I mean, it's such a fun game, and I would love to get people back into it. So we have, oh, wow. So we have lore. Now, lore, I don't know if this is going to be one of the ones or not, but he was a pretty rare one, actually. Oh, and then we also got an interest, who's also very fun, very rare. Um, that's pretty cool. That is really, really cool. I'm gonna have to look those up later. But yeah, they're talking about hopefully bringing the game back with the TV show and a movie. I believe next year, 2027, is going to be the 20th anniversary of the show, which is one reason why people think that it's going to be coming back next year. Yeah, Macabon. So, like, depending on your creatures that you get, this one here, Mind Strike, this attack card deals damage based on how much wisdom you have, but also if they have water attacks. So, if the creature has only 30 wisdom, it would deal just 5 damage. If he had 50 wisdom, he'd deal 5 and 5, total of 10 damage. Or if he had 70 wisdom, he'd deal 15 damage. But then if they had the water attribute, they would deal an additional 5 damage. So this card could deal up to 20 damage to somebody. Now, if you look, especially on the people that they're kind of the support cast, they have the music counters that tell us that they can cast the musical abilities. They have low health, like 30. So being able to deal 20 damage in a single hit, that's pretty powerful. That's It's a shiny one. Shiny location. I had not seen this one yet. That's cool. Another super rare Ulkix. And mm, another Mepedian War Beast. The thing with the War Beasts is they're they're tanky. They have a lot of energy, a lot of health, and you could build a deck centered around the War Beast with only having maybe one or two other creatures that one of them being one of the conjurers who keeps the War Beast in check and reduces their recklessness damage. And that could be a very, very viable strategy if you did it right. Me personally, I always tended to favor either the healing decks that is mostly done by the Overworlders, or I would go with the invisibility strikes from the Mepedians. It's quiet when my buddy runs away. This creature's just funny. Giant ball slime. Ah, there we go. Another reverberate. This type of music was really cool. It normally that'd be the how much music it cost to cast the magic ability. This one specifically states remove up to X elemental types from target creature until the end of turn. So you'd pay however many musical counters that you needed to remove however many of that type of or that elemental types from the person. So if somebody had all four elemental types, you could cast four musics and just completely wipe them out on that. Ornithor, Filler Reservoir. Shiny. Okay, we're getting into some more. Here's a super rare. This is nice. The Melodic Might. You draw 2 attack cards, then discard 2 attack cards. Like I said, normally you're only allowed to have 3 attack cards in hand at one time. So that could really give you an advantage. So it's different. It really is. When I first started learning how to play, it took me a minute to understand it all. But once you know the rules, it's very simple to get into because there's a very basic format to it that just repeats itself as you play the game. So you would have your character with their battle gear, and then you'd have your however many attack cards, your music. You can get 1 music card for each character that you have on team. So if it's a 1v1 match, you can only bring in 1 music card. And then you have 10 location decks that you get shuffled in. And you would, whoever's play it is, love you too, buddy. Whoever's play it is, they would shuffle your attack and location decks. Then whoever's turn it is, they draw their location, and that sets the location for that combat. For example, this location here is Mount Pillar. Initiative is wisdom. So whoever has the highest wisdom would get to attack first. And when Mountain Pillar becomes the active location, activate the hive until the end of the turn. This one specifically helps out the Danian insect creatures. So what that means is Danians, like this guy, Malash, they have a hive ability that gives them bonuses. This one here, Malash gains 5 energy for each Mandiblor you control, as long as the hive is activated. So he gets stronger and gets a lot healthier. And so then once you have your active location and you have your uh, attacking creature and your defending creature, then what you would do is you start out with 2 attack cards in your hand and you draw a 3rd attack card if you're the attacker. You choose which attack card to use. Hold on, buddy. You choose which attack card you would use and you set it down. So I'll go ahead and do a quick run through of how it would look. You would have, say, I I'm the attacker and I play Desiccate the Land. All right, it deals a base 5 damage. Say I have water attacks. Okay, it deals 5 water damage. And then if they also had earth attacks, even though it doesn't do any extra earth damage, it does say earth. If an attack card named Desiccate the Land is in your attack discard pile, heal 10 damage. So I'd lay that down. Now, what this does is this starts what's called the burst phase. In that, after I lay that card, I can either choose to play a music. So then let's say I want to do Elemental Denial. So I put that down and I remove my opponent's elemental type. Now they have a chance to counter. Okay, so then they can't play an attack card, but they could play a um, their own music card against mine. Okay, then it comes back to my turn, and I would have a chance to either play another music card or play one of my character's special abilities. Then if I pass, it goes back to their turn. If they pass, then we resolve this burst deck, starting from the top and going down. So they played heal 10 damage to target creature or deal 10 damage to target creature. Okay, so say they deal 10 damage to me. Then down here, remove up to one, I'll say, elemental types from the target creature. I remove their elemental type, and then it goes to my attack. So I had water attacks and the base, so I'm doing 10 damage to them. So they dealt 10 damage to me, I dealt 10 damage to them, and that's that turn. Then it gets to be their turn, and the active location is still up. That is still the active location. But what happens now is they will attack and play their attack card and any music. And then I would be able to counter with any music or abilities of mine. And it just goes back and forth like that until one creature is defeated. So the game itself is very simple. I mean, literally, it's just attack cards, your music cards, and the character. It's not that there's a lot involved in the turn. Where it gets involved is the strategy that you use. Do you want to use this music to counteract this attack now, or do you want to save the music and play a character's ability later? And you found a spider over there? Okay, leave it alone. I see it. Well, we can catch it and throw it outside in a minute, okay? Well, then you have to get Gigi to do it. You're gonna have to wait on me, okay? Thank you. Yeah, the battle gear, sometimes that's like a weapon, sometimes it's a shield. Uh, I mean, it's really cool. And when you watch the movie, it's really interesting how they interact because you have certain creatures from each tribe who are dedicated to building the battle gear for the rest of that tribe. And they have research stations for testing out new battle gear to try to get the upper hand on the other team, which is really, really cool. And you can see that play out in the card game, I feel like. Let's see, which ones we have here? A super rare Paraba and another interest. Oh, we got two interests now. Interesting. This is my last 10. We went through the Mepedians, the Overworlders, and the Danians, and now we're on to Overworlders. When I was first going through this, I had two of these 10s, and I would spend countless hours going through and just finding different strategies of building a deck. It was so much fun. This is interesting. So this is always an interesting battle gear. It's called Hunter's Lure. You sacrifice the battle gear, which means it's a one-time use. You once you use it, it's in the discard pile. But what you do is you move both of the engaged creatures to an open space on the battle board. So if you had a 6x6 board, and uh, so both teams having six characters, and you had one of your characters behind the enemy lines, and they're engaging another creature, you could then move both of those creatures to any open space on the board if you wanted them to be closer to your end, or if you wanted to move one of the enemy creatures over behind their side so they're away from your magicians, your supporters, then you could do that. But once you do that, then whoever wins the combat stays in that new space. So it's like if they're attacking your supporter, and they're way at the back end of your team line, and you use that and you transport them all the way to the back end of their team line, yeah, they get a lot farther from you. But then if you win that combat, your supporter is now deep behind enemy lines. So there's always a risk for each reward. Oh, okay. This is cool. So this guy, he's one of the ones that started it, fell for. He starts the Marillion invasion in the second season. And that's really cool that I ended up getting him. He's a super rare. He turns out to be an undercover Marillion that he was frozen in ice. The underworlders find him and he brainwashes them to believe that he's an underworlder from a bygone era. And through that, he convinces them into opening the doors that are locked, thinking the Kothica, a really powerful artifact, is behind these secret doors that nobody knows what's there. When in reality, it's the entire Marillion force, which was an ancient water tribe specializing in brainwashing. And once the doors open, the entire place gets flooded. The Marillions take over and start brainwashing all the tribes. And suddenly, what was once a bountiful land dealing with four tribes battling it out, trying to defend their territories, suddenly becomes the four tribes trying to defend their territories against this single ultra powerful tribe coming through. And you have to then see the tribes teaming up again with each other against the Marillions. And the way that they did that in the game, it was so cool to see how they would have with the flavor text and stuff, just they would have the characters suddenly what once had extreme prejudice against each other, they have to join together to overcome these ridiculous odds. It was really really cool. I thought they did a really good job with it. Oh, I hadn't seen this one yet. This guy's invisibility ability, it's specifically disarm. Opposing engaged creature's battle gear loses all abilities until the end of combat. So for that turn, they don't have any battle gear. That's pretty cool. Melodic Might again. Another Desiccate the Land. Danians. Back in the day, I didn't have a lot of Danians. I mostly had Overworlders and Mepedians, which is why I'm most familiar with them. But the Danians, they had a very interesting strategy too, because they were all about the insect hive mind. But then, like, you had this card here, Infectious Melody. You infect up to two target uninfected creatures, essentially turning them into insects, into parasitic creatures that turn to your team, which is a very interesting idea. I'm not sure how it actually played out in game since I never got to play with that, but definitely an interesting idea. Ah, Perithion. He's one of the ones that you see a lot in the TV series. And the Flux Bauble. This one, it's kind of cool. It's about a grid that at the beginning of your combat, you look at the top two cards in your location deck, and you put one of them on the top and one of them on the bottom. So you can basically rig your deck to get the location that you want on your next draw. That's the Doors of the Deep Mines. This is where Melfor got them to open the doors and release the Marillions. Oh, hey, Frafto, cool. So on some of these overworld creatures, you have their support. So his is support courage 5. This creature gains 5 courage for each adjacent overworld creature you control, which I think that's a really cool idea because you can really buff up your creatures by putting those support creatures in the center of your team and letting everybody else work around it. So I thought that was really cool. And that is actually the last of my cards that I've unlocked. So I'll have to go through later on and actually build a deck out. I'll probably just do a single one-on-one damage, one-on-one deck to kick off things tonight, go through the rules on everything and show how it works. But yeah, lots of fun. So let's see, we have all 4 of them here. There we go. Overworld, or Mepedian, Underworld, Danian, and Overworld. Man, when you're looking at the computer screen, it's mirrored. That is backwards. That's freaky. But anyway, yeah, lots of really fun things. So yeah, I will let y'all know when I'm getting back in tonight on these. But hopefully y'all enjoyed this one. It is now time for me to get ready to go pick up my other boy from school. But hopefully I will see y'all later. And remember, keep it classy.